everybody. So it's time for my Michael Jordan wrap up. It is all the way through the month of June, so 6 months, halfway to when I plan on actually getting a Jordan, hopefully in December. That's the plan anyway. Here's how things are going. Well, preface by saying I feel like June was a slow month, partially because we did a family trip to go visit my grandparents. Got to do it, family first, right? And then I took a boys trip to go work on my bucket list a little bit and went to Chicago. Got to go see the Cubs and the White Sox. That's two stadiums off of, or actually one more stadium off of my bucket list for actually seeing all the stadiums. It worked out fun because I had never been to the Cubs and my buddy had never been to the White Sox game. So we just did both because if you're flying up to Chicago, you might as well go to both games, right? And got to see Vince, the sports card ripping teacher. That was really cool. Got to try a bunch of new beers. That was fun. Chicago White Sox Stadium smells amazing. I can almost still smell the Italian beef sandwiches. Hot and sweet peppers dipped. Got to have it dipped. And it's messy, but it's wonderful. Anyway, I digress. Back to Jordan. How's it going? It was a slow month for me. I ended the month with $2,300. I'm at $2,366.24, which is great. It's not terrible at all. If I take the old calculator to it, that would get me at 47.32.48 if I continued on this pace. But I'm really, because it looks like I added $184.65 last month, which just isn't good enough. I got to do better than that. So right now I'm sitting next to a stack of cards that I need to get up on the eBay. I can't figure out how to do the, pick your card listings when you have one listing and then you can do the drop down and have a bunch of different cards from the same set. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that yet. Pretty frustrated with it, actually. If you happen to know, hit me up on Instagram or something because I cannot figure it out. But let's look at the sales for last month and see where I might fall today and where I might fall at the end of the year. Also, this month, for the most part, I just looked at PSA. There were a bunch of PSA sales, unlike last month where there was kind of sporadic. So I thought it'd be fun if we just did PSA authentic all the way through 9. There were no PSA 10s that I saw. And I went back and I looked at my video from January just to see if which ones I mentioned then, if we could do a little comparison price shopping. If I had purchased in January versus purchased now, how are the prices shifting? So let's start off with a PSA authentic sold on June 28th for $23.50. I will say that is a beautiful looking card. I obviously have issues with it because it didn't tell you in the listing what they actually did to it, so I'm assuming they shaved it. But gosh, eye appeal for days. It's a great looking card. It might be why a PSA 1 that sold on 6/26 sold for $1,600. So the 1 is cheaper than the authentic, but like I said, eye appeal on that authentic is great. PSA 2 sold on June 27th for $19.76. Again, the authentic is still more expensive than the unaltered PSA 2. Also, in January 2nd, PSA 2 sold for $2,300. That's about a $400 difference. So that's interesting. So $400 less now. June 30th, PSA 3 sold for $21.25. Again, less than that PSA 8 authentic. I think if I have to compare the two, I'm taking the 3. I'm taking the 3 over the eye appeal of the authentic all day, just because it's gonna bother me so much. June 23rd, PSA 4 sold for $31.95. We're now finally above that beautiful authentic, so it feels more right at that point. Now this is interesting. On January 10th, a PSA 4 sold for $26.95. So that's actually up, $500. So that's interesting. June 21st, PSA 5 sold for $34.51. June 25th, a PSA 6 sold for $32.01. You can compare that to a January 2nd sale of a PSA 6 for $3,700. So that is a $500 cheaper today than it was in January. PSA 7, can't read my handwriting, but I think it says June 25th was the sale date for $47.50. And PSA 8 on June 29th sold for $6,200. Compare that to a January 11th sale of a PSA 8, which sold for $66.50. That is a $450 decrease. And just for grins, there was a PSA 9 that sold on June 25th for $18,150, which clearly I'm not going to get. I'd have to sell my car real quick. I did have an honorable mention because when I was doing my research, I saw something I thought was kind of cool. But it's a BGS. It's a BGS 8 with a sticker auto that sold for $8,200. I thought that was just, it's interesting, right? I did read that somebody took like their collection of PSA 10s to Michael Jordan and had them sign, had all the authentication folks with them, and he signed all these PSA 10s. I'm sure he paid a mint to do it, but allegedly jacked up the value of them. How do you feel about having an iconic card and then someone slapping a sticker auto on it? I don't like it, actually. I personally don't like it. So, but when it comes to big boy cards and big boy comic books, like I don't like the fact that people will take iconic comic books to the creator and have them sign the creator, or have them sign the book. And I want it, especially if it's a high value book, to stay as authentic and as pristine as possible. And I feel like even though the autograph is cool, and it's cool to see, I personally feel like it devalues it to me as the way I collect. Having them sign a reprint or something else, awesome, man. I love autographs. I think it's fantastic. But iconic cards, like, I don't know. I don't dig it in iconic comic books. I don't like it. So how do I feel about authors signing first edition books? That's interesting because that doesn't bother me as much. Wow, how weird is that? If I had like a first edition Harry Potter and what's her name signed it, would that bother me? I don't think so. I think that's actually kind of cooler. That's weird. I'm a weird dude. What about like CDs when they come out signing the cover? That doesn't bother me at all. I think a signed CD is really cool. A signed first edition book is really cool. But for some reason, the autograph on the Grail card and Grail comic book irritate me. Bizarre. Sorry. Whoa, I just went on a tangent there. I apologize for that. Okay, so I'm at $21.81.59 for the month. I only added $184.65. I will do better than that next month. The BGS 8 autograph was interesting. We do see, generally speaking, today's prices compared to January's prices, even on a Grail card, have dropped, by hundreds of dollars for the most part. The only outlier was that PSA 4 that went up $500, and I would have to compare the one from January to the one in June because I appeal as we see in the PSA Authentic that sold just a few days ago or a week ago, is pretty heavy. It means it's lots of dollars for eye appeal. And then when you get the lower grades, certainly the eye appeal is really, really important. I don't think you're going to have as large of a variance in the 6, 7, 8, 9s. Obviously 10 should have no variance. It should be completely perfect. 9 should be dang near perfect. You shouldn't have any variance there. Maybe in the 6s, but 7s and 8s shouldn't be a huge difference. But I feel like the Authentics through like 4 and 5, it's eye appeal is definitely going to come into it. Eye appeal, centering, your corners, the coloring, all that comes into play. So anyway, I'm gonna spend quite a bit of time on today, July 4th, Happy Independence Day, working on updating my eBay site. I mean, I did so bad when I was traveling so much. My eBay site was basically down. I don't think I had anything active, so that's part of the problem. And because we were gone so much, I was always behind. I was always trying to get caught up, whether it was at work or it was at the house, or I had a million other things going on. I just dropped the ball and kicking myself a little bit for that. So right now, like I said, if I was able to duplicate the first half of this year, by the end of December, I should have $4,700-ish. That today, if I had it today, I could buy a PSA 7, which is amazing. That was not within my realm of expectation when I started this in January. But ending this with a PSA 7, could I do an 8? Is 8 greedy? Could I? Okay, so if it's gone down $450, let's say in December, maybe, because things fluctuate. A PSA 8 costs around $6,000. Could I do that? I feel like if I hustle and don't jack around, then maybe I can outdo this previous month or this previous half. Man. PSA finishing the year with a PSA 8 would be a huge accomplishment, I think, because there's a massive difference between a PSA 8 and a PSA 9. Last month, that difference was $12,000. That's huge. But if I could get to a PSA 8, what a great stepping stone that I could use later in a flip and trade to move up to a PSA 9. Man, PSA 8 would look great in my collection. Just saying, a PSA 8 would be awesome. That would be, man, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Now I'm just dreaming, reaching for the stars. That was fun. So I'm gonna get back to it. Hey, again, if you know how to do the eBay pick a card thing, or you can do one listing and have 100 cards or whatever, I'd love to pick your brain, because I just cannot figure that out. Other than that, it was a completed month. I had got a lot accomplished, but I did not get enough done on my hobby goal. $185 just isn't going to cut it, but I know I'm going to do better next month. So there we go. You can only go up from here. So that's it. Talk to y'all later. Happy 4th. Happy Independence Day. And be careful with fireworks, but eat lots of hot dogs.